two rosés, and they look so different in color. Well, which one's better? Stay tuned. Welcome to this week's episode, and welcome to my backyard. Oh, it's a steamy 94 degrees. So guess what? Rosé wines are the perfect wine to have when the weather gets sort of steamy like this and it's in the 90 plus range. And I have two rosés for you this week. And I want us to talk about, well, is one better than the other? Because this one's darker, maybe that one's better. Or this one's lighter, maybe this one's better. Well, guess what? That's not true. It really depends on what you like, and I can look at the wines and think, well, maybe this one maybe sat on the skins a little longer. Because guess what, you guys? Both of these wines are made from red grapes. So it's not as though one's better than the other, but I could look at this one and maybe it'll tell me some things, and I can look at this one and maybe it'll tell me some things. So let's see what the wines are telling us just by their color. And we'll start with my go-to, Cotes de Provence. This, not only do they have the cool shaped bottles, which you can't quite see yet, but the wines from southern France and the ones that say Cotes de Provence always come in these really cool shaped bottles. So Cotes de Provence rosés are probably, I guess they have a special place in my heart, because this is where kind of like my wife and I first discovered rosés way back in the early 90s. And they're just delicious. And I remember my first trip to Paris, and it was summertime. And guess what everyone had on their tables? Rosé. So it's one of those things where maybe rosés got a bad rap because of white Zinfandels, which is too bad. But the wines from the Cotes de Provence, so the area around Provence in southern France, are just perfect food-friendly wines. They're going to go with just about anything you throw at them. Well, maybe not think too heavy like a grilled steak, but they're really nice. And in fact, tonight I've just ordered a pizza to go with this one. One that is has feta and black olives and artichokes, no pizza sauce, just olive oil and garlic. I think it's going to be great with this wine. I would think of this one with maybe Mediterranean foods, you know, grilled fish, light salads, antipasta dishes. Now guess what? I haven't tried this wine, so I'm going to try it with you live. Same thing with my Spanish wine. So as you can tell, it's quite light. Now I know from my research I did, it's made from it's a blend. Almost all of the Cotes de Provence rosés are going to be blends. And this one is a blend of Cinsault and Syrah and Grenache. So again, I can kind of tell just by looking at this, you guys, that it's it probably didn't stay on the skin contact for very long. As you know, when they, if you've seen from our episode before, you know, they let the juice sit on the grapes for a little bit and then they strain it away. And that just gives it that beautiful light blush color. It's beautiful. And the Cotes de Provence wines are usually this color. So I'm curious what this one's going to be like. I have a pretty good idea. It's going to be crisp, probably a little nice acidity, well balanced like all of the French rosés are. And maybe just a little hint of some strawberry in there. So we'll see what that one's like. So Cotes de Provence, I'll put all the notes about this wine, where I got it, how much it costs. And the rosé wines are very affordable. You know, usually between $10 and $20, you can get some amazing wines, rosés. Now here's one from Spain, from the Ribera del Duero area of Spain. And it's very famous for making this wine made from the grape of Tempranillo, right? Which is in the Riojas that we've seen. And you can tell, hopefully you can tell by the look, this one is quite a bit darker than our French Cotes de Provence. Well, it just tells me not that this one is better than that one just because it's darker, or that this one's better because it's lighter. Don't worry about that. Because it's so dark, I imagine it spent a little bit more time on the grape skins. I expect, haven't tasted it yet, I expect it's going to be a bit more concentrated. It's going to have a little bit more of maybe that fruit flavor. It's going to contain maybe both rosés aren't very tannic wines. So if you've ever been worried about wines being too tannic or too dry, you're in good shape, especially with the ones from Spain or the ones from Italy, like we featured in one of our past episodes on the Rosatos. So I think this one might be just a little more fruit forward, probably still going to have nice acidity, and it's going to be perfect with tapas. And you're probably thinking, what are tapas, Trent? Well, if you don't know, that's okay. We do this a lot in our house, and it's something as easy as a bowl of mixed olives, and I have green olives, I have black olives, and then, oh, do we love Spanish cheese in this house? So I have some different kinds of cheese. I have manchego, I have some Spanish sausage, and some cheese. So I'm going to put the links in there. I found this at Trader Joe's. So if you want to try some Spanish cheese and you haven't tried some Spanish cheese, here we go. So Iberico and Manchego and some Spanish sausage, very affordable. You can get it at Trader Joe's. You can even get it at the grocery store. In fact, most grocery stores, they have like a little tapas cheese sampler where they're all sliced and ready for you to go. They're delicious. So this wine, and the winery said it's great with tapas. And it's good with cheese and sausage, light grilled fish, salads, sausages, things of that nature. So think if you're going to make something and you're going to set out on your patio in your backyard and have something that's kind of light and refreshing, rosés are just the absolute perfect answer. Well, all this talk about wines made me thirsty, so let's give them a try. I'm going to start with the French one first. So again, wine from Provence. Let me get it open here, which is not easy because it's just so wet. Oh, that sounds pretty. So again, almost all of our French wines are going to be blends. This one is definitely that case, and I'll put the blends in our description box. So a blend of 3 grapes, and look at that just beautiful color. Wow. Now again, I think this one's going to be maybe a little bit drier than the Spanish one, but I don't know. Again, you can't judge everything by the color, but the color tells us that maybe this one could be a little more concentrated. Maybe I'm going to get a little bit more of the fruit than my Provençal, but let's see. Oh, that's just gorgeous. You know how often I feature rosés on our channel. In fact, I just bought tickets. So next Saturday, I'm going to a rosé festival at one of my local wine stores, and which is nice for you to do. If you have, if you notice your local wine store is going to have a big tasting, I had to buy a ticket, which was fine because they only let 50 people in, and they're going to do about 25 different rosés. So I'll probably do one more episode on the rosés, and then I'll let you guys just pick some for yourself and enjoy. But I like to promote these wines so much because I think you're just going to just adore them. Like, hopefully we do. I mean, we do, and hopefully you do. So, bright red fruit. Think of fresh raspberries and fresh strawberries, not overripe. And maybe even some white flowers in there. Let's give it a taste. Beautiful colors, you can tell. Pale salmon color. Absolutely delicious, not surprised. You can taste the freshness of the fruit, and there's enough acidity that I think this is going to be great with that pizza I'm having. Remember, it doesn't have a tomato sauce, it's just olive oil and garlic and feta and some artichokes and fresh tomatoes. So very simple, very light. I think this is going to be perfect. I guess I should finish it because I only have one glass. Oh, that's just delicious. Delicious. Now, quite a bit darker, right? And here is our rosé made from the Tempranillo grape, which is famous for the red Riojas that we featured quite a bit in our show. So, here we go. Now, again, haven't tasted it before, only read up on it. Now, the glass makes it look a little darker. I mean, the bottle makes it look a little darker than the glass, but still considerably darker than the French rosé. Stunning. Oh, now this is interesting. All right, so this one, the fruit smells a little darker. So maybe black cherry-ish, maybe a little less strawberry, maybe a little bit more raspberry. fresh, vibrant. Hard to describe it. Sometimes you can smell a wine, and I can smell it, and I know it's going to be crisp. And that's what this reminds me of. Tempranillo. Oh, I'm telling you, the Spanish wines, there's a reason I have a love affair with the Spanish wines right now, because they're just fantastic. Okay, well this one, it turns out the colors do kind of indicate what they taste like. It's a little darker. It's a little bit more extracted. It's hard to describe, other than this one was very light. I could get this sort of fresh fruit and the acidity, and then it kind of goes away. With the Spanish one, made from the Tempranillo grape, I get a little bit more of the concentrated dark fruit flavors. It still has a nice acidity. Smells beautiful. But I can tell this one is a little heavier in a sense, right? So the body's a little bit more. So now the color kind of indicates that it's a little bit heavier bodied wine than my light Cotes de Provence. Both great. You can't just say like one is better than the other because this one's darker, which means it must be better. Same price. It just really depends on the grapes that are used, what the winemaker's doing when he or she is extracting that juice and letting it sit on the grapes. So you may find like maybe you like the wines that tend to be a little bit darker, the rosés are a little bit darker, or maybe you like that clean, fresh, high acidity, that fresh strawberry, where this one's maybe more of a raspberry that's been maybe a little bit more ripe than this one. So it's just sort of a balancing act, but I'm telling you, these wines are fantastic, and they're going to be great with my Manchego. Oh, it's just going to be fantastic. So when the weather's warm and you're looking for something, a wine to drink, yes, there are plenty of white wines out there, but I'm telling you, the rosés are just perfect for food, for drinking on their own, and you just really can't go wrong. Well, look at that, you guys. I am drinking two beautiful wines, one from the south of France, one from Spain. Gosh, it doesn't get much better than this. So when the weather is like it is today, make sure your food is light and your wines are light, and they all go well together. So thank you again for tuning in this week. Thank you for sharing our channel with your friends and family and coworkers. And I'll see you next time as we explore the world of wine together. Cheers, everyone.